welcome to another episode of The Walk. I'm in Leicester in the East Midlands of England. I'm with my dad and we're going to walk the former Great Northern Railway all the way from the city of Leicester all the way out to Melton Mowbray. Bit of a trek, Dad.
It's a bit of a trek, but we're standing on the location of Belgrave Road Station in Leicester, and we're going to walk my favourite railway in my entire life. And why was it my favourite railway? Because you never saw a bloody train on it.
Okay, before we get started on the walk then, let's get Rail Map Online up. Now, as you can see, the East Midlands is an absolute mishmash of different lines, different railway companies. If you look in the centre, you'll see a short red line that goes from left to right. That is the Great Northern Railway. So we're going to follow that from Leicester, Belgrave Road Station, all the way out until it meets that kind of bluey purpley line. That's the Great Northern and London and North Western Joint Railway. What we're going to do at that point is jump onto that line and follow it all the way up until we get to Melton Mowbray.
Where we are now, the old Belgrave Road Station.
It's seen better days.
It has seen better days. And of course, we're in the centre of Leicester. The centre of Leicester is literally just down there on the Belgrave Road. And so, of course, it's not going to survive, but a lot of stuff has survived on this line, as we'll see. But now you've got a BM home store and all this stuff. But what this shows you with all this new building, and you're going to see it as it goes on and on and on, is that Belgrave Road had this enormous goods yard. Over there was a massive goods building, multi-story goods building. The station was here, which didn't see many trains, like I say, but you'll see the vastness of the goods yard, the goods area, because all these buildings are built on it, and it became famous among Leicester people because of excursion trains that used to run in the 50s and early 60s. I think they stopped in 1962 when they used to run excursion trains to the East Coast, to Skegness and Mablethorpe, and it became the station for the sea, they called it. But that was its last hurrah, and then it was goodbye, thank you and good night.
So as my dad said, we're in the city centre. Things rarely survive, unfortunately, in city centres. They just tend to get covered in asphalt, as this station has. So we're going to start walking towards the beautiful countryside of Leicestershire. But before we get out to the countryside, a couple of bits have actually survived, real minimal bits, a couple of bridges and things like that that are kind of hidden away, so we're going to try and find them.
This is Catherine Street in Leicester, and this road went right across the line. Right. Across the massive entrance to the station and the goods yard, but it did so obviously on a massive bridge. It was a big blue brick bridge. And when you see the odd photograph of a steam train, one of the excursions, leaving Belgrave Road Station, they were all taken from this bridge. I used to come here with my mate or on my own, and the bridge, because it's the 50s and early 60s, the bridge was just a bit too high, this blue brick bridge, for me to see over it, so you kept doing this all the time until you could see into the station. And now they've flattened it out. I've got another memory here too, because just up there on the left, where the bridge came down, was a pub called the Horse and Jockey. And you know they have kids in pubs now, they didn't then. And my mother and father would go into the pub and have a beer, and I'd be sat outside in the yard among the beer crates, because that was the children's room in those days, on a freezing cold night. And but at least allowed me to have a look at the railway, which was compensation. I just love this railway. So everything to the right here was the massive goods yard, which went a long way out of the station. And then, as we'll see, at a bridge, it all went straight into 2 tracks very quickly. And a lot of the buildings around here will have been here when the line was. That's the Bostik factory. I was offered a job there once, but I told them to stick it. But
Oh dear.
this whole area that you're seeing, and all the big housing developments that we've seen, were all on this brickyard. It was amazing. It's a real big wood operation called Walker's that was on the side of the goods yard as well. It was a strange thing because, you know, we'll get into it later a bit more, but the Great Northern Railway built this line into Leicester because they wanted to challenge the Midland. They had no chance because this is pointed the wrong way, out east instead of London. If you want to go to London on the Belgrave Road line, you had to go out to Grantham and then get a train into King's Cross.
I'm filming in anticipation, Dad, for the first remain of this railway, and there we go. Up until this point, there's been literally no clue that there was once a railway line. But there you go.
This is a shot, because you can't see it as it was because of all the buildings, but you look at this area and the width of this area, and then look way in the distance. That was all sidings and also the line into the Belgrave Road station. It's funny, we're here at a scrapyard. Obviously the scrapyard wasn't here, but there was a scrapyard on the other side, not far out of the station, on the other side. And my father, because we used to have vehicles that, I mean, you know, 20 quid.
Should have been written off.
Yeah, and so, you know, we couldn't afford anything. We couldn't afford to go to the garage or anything. So my father used to go to that scrapyard, and we used to go through it looking for bits for his car. It took ages, and right next to the Belgrave Road station. So I was quite happy to mess around and look through the scrap, because it was next to the station I love so much. But yet again, whenever we did that, no trains, no train movement.
Okay, so this is double track at this point then, Dad. It's come together at this point.
Yeah.
And
What happened is it came in very quickly to just 2 tracks on that mass of tracks, and then the 2 tracks went under this bridge and through that building. And on the other side of the building was a level crossing and a little signal box, which I loved. Forest Road, it was on, just over there. And I just always wanted to see a train go through that level crossing, but never did.
so, first remain. We're going to walk down now underneath the Midland line, the Midland Railway, and there is some remains on the other side of that as well. And that's when we then start to trek out towards the countryside. This is a serious remain, this one.
Right.
So that's the Midland line up there. And this is a spur coming onto the Great Northern then?
Yeah, what they did is they built this spur to join the Belgrave Road goods yard to the Midland line. And after they closed Belgrave Road and the trains basically stopped, they still kept part of the goods yard open for stuff, which then went into the Midland line, because this Belgrave Road line was all closed from then on. And
so the Belgrave Road line came through here underneath.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's still there then.
What happened was, it came through, you know the bridge we were just on?
Yeah.
And we saw that building in the way. Well, it then came through here, and just here was a level crossing. I think there's a picture of it on the internet, and a signal box where the Belgrave Road line came across and went up towards the first intermediate station that was Humberstone. And what I used to do as a kid, it's crazy really. If you look at the top of the road where the red traffic light is, that's a main road out of Leicester, which eventually went to my house. I would sit on the top of the bus on the left-hand side as a kid. So I wait for Forest Road, this road, to have a look down in the hope that I would see a train going across the level crossing. I never did, because the chances of it were zilch, but that's how much I fell in love with this line. And the reason I fell in love with the line, certainly to start with, before I saw its beautiful countryside, was, you know how people fall for the underdog? And we had in Leicester the Midland line, the main one. You had the Great Central, which was the second one. And then you had Belgrave Road, where if you saw a train, it was a miracle. Particularly once you got out of the goods yard. And so I fell in love with it. And it was always my ambition to see a train. And I never did. I saw some in the distance sometimes, because my house overlooked a valley where this line went past in the distance. Saw one or two like that, not many, but I never saw one close up, which was sad to me.
But we're hunting for remains today though, Dad, so we're going to see plenty of it, especially as we get further out into the countryside with tunnels and viaducts and all sorts.
Yeah, and there you see the spur, and it then went on to a kind of embankment eventually in that direction, and that's where we'll find Humberstone Road Station, or Humberstone Road Station as was. They were going to preserve Humberstone Road Station as a youth club, and then some yobs went in it one night, smashed it to pieces, and they eventually pulled it down.
Okay, so we've walked round quite a bit now, and we're at the site of Humberstone Station, I think, because it's hard to tell, Dad. There's an out there.
You see that building over there? Well, that's where the line went, and it went down there. You see, where we were at the level crossing, what it then did was get on an embankment, and Humberstone Station was high up, red brick building, and it was on the embankment. Then you had a big bridge went across this road, and then it went across there on another embankment, and then across another road, and then in to where I used to play football a lot as a kid, and the embankment taking the Belgrave Road line through the park was just sitting there all the time, year after year after year. Never saw a train.
Okay, so we're in Humberstone Park now. This is basically the only part of the walk that I remember as a kid, because I remember playing in this park as a kid, and I remember the big embankment going through it. The rest of it is all obviously Dad's knowledge, and I have no idea, but I do remember this park as a kid. Dad, have we got some track bed at last?
Well, this is Humberstone Park, right? And, you know, coats for goalposts. We used to play over there, football, from morning till night until it got too dark to play. I played cricket on this park as well for the school and stuff. But the real reason I love this park is because the Belgrave Road line came on an embankment right across it. Other side of those trees over there, a little bit further, is Humberstone Station. And then it came across the roads, and then now we're starting to really start to move out into the countryside part of the line. Because this is kind of on the way out of Leicester. And we used to climb up on the embankments when the track was still down, and praying for a train. I never saw, all the time I played here, never saw a train. But now they've got steps up there.
Get in.
Here we go.
So this line was opened by the Great Northern in 1883, which is pretty late when you think the Midlands was coming in in the 1840s. I love the Great Northern Railway because they kind of, it feels like at least it was a bit of a people's venture really, because it was built to try and compete and also take away the monopoly of the Midland.
They've turned it into a footpath.
There we go.
There you go.
So there you go, there's track bed all the way back to Humberstone Station then.
and then this way out of Leicester. Double track.
It is bizarre, they built such amazing infrastructure and yeah, there's never a train. Mad, really. Well, that bit of track bed was short-lived, Dad.
Yeah, but it picks up on the other side. So there was a little bridge here, and then it went over. And just on the other end of this embankment is a bridge at a place called Chesterfield Road, I think it's called. And it looked down onto the track. And me and Paul Burdett, my mate, who lived around the corner from me, we used to spend a lot of time standing at that bridge waiting for a train. I remember one night, quite late in the day, it was dark, and we saw a green light in the distance as we looked towards Leicester. We thought, hey, there's a train coming, right? But of course, it was all signals. It wasn't. But we thought, oh, maybe anything for us to see a train on the Belgrave Road line. Turned out to be a traffic light. But there was a big signal down here on the embankment that used to stand out. It was always in a no train position, but you used to stand out. You used to see it from the road. Like the Great Central, that was basically blue brick, were the bridges and stuff. So we've just been up there, and this is a walkway onto the park, which I walked through many, many times under this bridge, and we pick it up there and off it goes.
As I was saying a few moments ago about the Great Northern, so basically the Midland Railway had the monopoly, so they basically set he's found more track bed. They set the rules of the game in terms of what the colliery owners were paying in X, Y and Z. So it was a lot of these owners of these small collieries and large collieries and ironworks and whatever, they all got together with the Great Northern, and they basically, you know, lobbied to try and get an alternative railway built, and that's what they did in the Midlands. And that's why a lot of this railway, you know, Dad's obviously laughing about the fact he couldn't ever see a train, but when there were trains, they were almost certainly goods trains a lot of the time, because that's where they made the money. It's not a well-trodden path, Father.
It's not. Oh, it's fantastic. We could get up here though.
I've worn shorts.
Fantastic. This is all the areas where I grew up and played as a kid. You want to think, it was double track line went through here. Oh,
You've been got by a Triffid.
Okay.
Right, it's getting spicier and spicier.
When's the last time I did walk through here?
Ow! Stung myself again. Oh mate, we're in a blackberry bush here, Dad. This is brutal.
No, they say goalkeepers are bloody mad, and we're both goalkeepers. And they say I'm mad for other reasons. Well, another confirmation of your bloody insanity is trekking old railway lines through something like that.
Yeah.
I've been stung and I've been pricked.
But we're undeterred. Well, we're deterred from that bit. Right, Dad, we've come off the Stingfest and we've walked round.
Funnily enough, it's easier walking on the path. God, I'm stung.
And you're wearing trousers, Dad.
And this is the bridge that came across the embankment, and just on this other side, as you're going out of Leicester, the embankment became a cutting, and the shops over there, Wicklow Drive shops, I used to go in there a heck of a lot on my way to Humberstone Park to play football. And well, I keep saying that I never saw a train. Okay, if you go over here, down that road where that lady's walking, just a bit further on.
I think it's a lad, that.
Is it a lad? I'm 72, how would I know? It was more obvious when I was growing up. But I was walking with Paul Burdett with a few friends, and suddenly it's night, it's like, you know, 8 o'clock at night, and it's dark, a frickin' train went across this bridge, right? It was a diesel, dirty diesel, but it was pulling loads of trucks, but we were far enough away not to see what was on them. And we thought, yes, they're using the line again. Fantastic. And it turned out they were the trucks and that was the train that was taking the track up.
And that was the end of it. So when's that, 68?
Oh no, that would be, when did I join Coventry? 67, that would be 66, 67, wow, yeah.
Gone. Right, so we're outside the city now. We're no longer in Leicester, are we?
Well, we're right on the edge of it. Just before we start hitting the real beautiful countryside part of the line. And we're walking down to where you had Belgrave Road Station, then you had Humberstone Station, and the next intermediate station was Scraptoft and Thurnby, or Thurnby and Scraptoft.
And that was that's here. It. So the line went across there with a bridge, but I think that might be the station building, you know? I think it is.
There's a good chance. Me and Paul Burdett came here with the track still down to see Scraptoft Station on our bikes on one of our Sunday treks out on the line. And at home I've got a picture on the wall by a very brilliant railway artist called, I think, David Weston, and it's of Scraptoft Station in the 1930s. Lovely picture.
From what I can remember that picture, Dad, it's just countryside.
Yeah, well,
around
it would
here.
be.
Yeah.
It would be, you see. You know,
not anymore.
Funnily enough, where we're going with this line out into East Leicestershire, that's actually been extraordinarily left alone in terms of development. So it's very, very much like I remember it. But the rest of the area, I mean,
it's all built on, yeah.
I don't recognise most of it.
That's railway era, that one. These are all modern. I think that could be, that's the station master's house, I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon that's the station master's house.
It's a shop now.
Because the station would have been here with the line going from left to right, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Would have come this way and across the road.
So I'll try and find some pictures then of this station.
I mean, that's got a feel about it, isn't it? Down there.
Yeah. So there's your track bed.
But it was double track, and it was a lovely little station. They although they were intermediate stations, they did spend some money on the stations. They were lovely. And when we get to Lowesby, we're going to see a great example of one of them.
Okay, so we're going to walk round now to find our first proper real remain, isn't it? A tunnel, which is known as Thurnby Tunnel or Ingarsby Tunnel, depending on who you ask. It's called both because it sort of sits in between the two. Here we go then. We really are in the countryside now. I missed you going over the stile, Dad. You were like a greyhound.
Putting on the agony, putting on the style. That's what all the young folks are doing all the while. Anyone that remembers that song is as old as I am.
We found track bed.
Oh, yes.
Although we are walking in the wrong direction.
Yes, we are.
We're walking back towards Leicester. We've had enough of Melton Mowbray. We're going to walk back towards Leicester. But we should be finding some real awesome remains in a sec. Here we go. Now, what I should do really, if I was a professional, is ignore this, get to the tunnel, and then do it in the right order. But I can't be bothered. We're on a viaduct.
Oh yes. Well, this is fantastic for me, as a almost lifelong lover of this line since I was in my early teens. And this is the viaduct, Ingarsby Viaduct, I think you might call it, that I've never seen till this moment. Oh my God, fantastic. It's substantial too, Gaz.
Yeah, it does seem to be. Yeah, and you can see the valley there. It's a beautiful part of the world. Let's just climb up here a bit. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
The pigeons just terrified me. He just flew out of that tube.
Look at that. It's high, isn't it?
It's really high, yeah. Oh, mate, that just literally scared the life out of me.
About coming out on my bike, following this line out towards Melton, did it so many times, was the beautiful countryside. It's stunning.
At this point, after this many videos, I think the pigeons are doing it on purpose to me, because it's nearly every week now.
This is a farm track bridge then. What a little find this is.
There you go, and it's public
Still
footpath
used
as well.
today, of course. And let's have a look over this bit here and see if we can see the tunnel.
The tunnel can't be far from here, I don't think.
Well, what we are in now is a cutting which you'd expect for a tunnel. What's that through there, Gaz?
I think the tunnel is through there, you know. It's just a case of getting to it. Okay, so I've left my bag up at the top with my dad, and I'm going to get down because it's a bit spicy, to be honest. And obviously I don't want my dad going down here. I mean, I'm an idiot, so that's fine. It's a bit, oh jeez Louise, it's a bit steep. Once I get past this bit, I can basically go down on my bum, I think. I'm going to try and cling to the side. See, there's the bridge. I mean, it's 3 arches actually, so is that technically not a viaduct? Depends who you ask, I suppose. So you can just see the viaduct through there. It's covered in graffiti, so people can get down here. It's just whether this time of year is possibly the worst time. Right, I'm going to cling to the edge. Mate, look at the size of those mushrooms. Jeez. That's like a little lion sleeping. Right, so after all that, folks, I'm back out. That's all infilled.
Where is it?
This area, basically, it just slants off. It's full of stingers, but it slants off where they've infilled it.
Well, is that the other end of it then? It's got to be in it. So the tree line there, the bushes and the trees, that's the line, isn't it?
I think it's a bit bigger tunnel than that, though.
Yeah, so do I. But I mean, for whatever reason, we've been given a line of sight there.
Yeah.
And maybe.
Okay, let me run back and grab my bag, and then we'll get across there. Yeah. Okay, so we've crossed the field, and I've come into some woods thinking this was where the other portal is, but it isn't. But I found the air shaft. So there you go. Look, blue brick. Can you just see it through the foliage? So the tunnel is there, underneath. There you go. I've come up closer to it now. So there you go. Look at that. It's capped off at the top there. So that is the ventilation shaft for Ingarsby Tunnel. Right, now this is a bit better trodden, isn't it, this path? Right, let's follow this then. There we go, look at that. Okay, now I'm not sure where my dad is. He was in the field a second ago, but he might have actually come in ahead of me. So what is so strange about this tunnel is, look how high we are, and look how high we are. So it feels like I'm on an embankment, and I am. But this is the tunnel. So it's almost like, what was the point? It doesn't need to be here. So all I'm thinking then is maybe it's a landowner issue, where, you know, the landowner would only give permission for the railway to come through the land, if they basically didn't have to see the trains or hear the trains. So stick them in here basically, and then they're you know, I don't have to see the horrible things. I'd have loved it personally, but I'm just here, Dad. He's quite steep though. Dad's ahead of me. I don't know how he's managed that.
Be very careful, it's very steep.
Okay. So let's have a look. Where are we then?
Be careful because you're walking down towards the top of the tunnel.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
If you keep walking, you're going to fall off the end of it.
All right. Okay. Let's not do that then.
So go to the path to the left. Go on to the left.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Are you up there, Dad?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, you did well to find it though. I was about giving up hope, and then I saw the air shaft on top, and I was like, mate, here we go. Oh wow. Okay, that's steep. Yeah, this is crazy steep, Dad. Look at that. Awesome. Right. Okay, mate, I'll go and have a quick look in the tunnel, and then we'll go back and get to Ingarsby station on the rest of the route. But it seems kind of crazy to come this close and not go all the way down to it, but I'm basically filming myself, usual drill, in case I stack it, because it's funny, innit, for you. Okay. Right. So actually, there's such a turn in this because that air shaft was way off. This must be a real sharp turn in this tunnel. Okay, here we go. So there you go, enormous blue brick, Great Northern. So I've got my torch on. Let's have a look. Oh mate, look how many beer cans there are, it's mental. Seen better days there, look. Incredible. Okay, let's have a butcher's hook. I've come this far. Oh mate, this is not easy. Here we go. So people have had fires in here. Look at that. Amazing. Now obviously you can't get through it because of the fact that it's all filled in at the other end. But it's all still ballast down. And trains haven't come through here since about 1968, I think 1969. Look at that. That's amazing. And you can see just further down, you see that little bit of light in the distance. Can you see that? That's that ventilation shaft we were at a second ago. So there you go. I'll do that. Oh no, I'm blinding you. Ingarsby Tunnel, or Thurnsby Tunnel. Unfortunately can't get all the way through it, but got inside it, that's cool. Found it in the end. Right, let's crack on. Here we go. The climb back up. Jeez, oh, mate. Nearly went then. A mountain goat. I am not. Mate. Okay. What a faff that was. Okay, so we're now walking in the right direction. That's the viaduct just behind me. And now we're walking out towards Melton Mowbray. So we had to kind of come back on ourselves a bit. And the next stop is Ingarsby Station, or Ingarsby Station. Sorry, Dad does keep correcting me, I keep saying it wrong. It's a private house. So we'll see how close we can get, but obviously with any private house, I'm not going to be, going up and filming it, but it'd be nice if we can see it. Where are we now, Dad? We're just the other side of it, aren't we?
Yeah. Actually, you've just mentioned, don't want to go into a private house. When me and Paul Burdett came on our bikes and we came down and we found Ingarsby Station, we couldn't believe it. And the tracks were still down then, but it was a private house. And we were standing at the gate to the house looking in at wonder. This is Ingarsby Station. And the owner came out absolutely spewing abuse with his fist up. Fuck up! So I remember that. We were on our bikes in a wave pretty quick. That's why I remember this for. But there were workers' cottages and what have you, and they've turned it into a beautiful, the station into
it looks amazing.
Yeah.
See, I've put up the drone footage there, and well, there's a clue, look at that.
Yeah, because the line came down across here, and you can see the embankment in the distance there, look where it picks up.
Oh yeah.
We've lost it for a bit, and then it picks up again. And there's a hell of a lot of earthworks of the line now, because we're heading out to Lowesby. And I don't know who lives at Lowesby Station, but they obviously like railways and they have taste, because they've actually done it up fantastic. So we're going to have a look at that now.
Awesome. So unfortunately for this section, there's not much walkable track bed. So we've had to, come around on roads, noisy, dangerous roads annoyingly. But we're walking down now to Lowesby Station. You're saying some guy's done this right up?
Oh yeah. The first time I came to Lowesby Station, obviously it was closed, but the track was still down, both tracks. But it was the worst for wear. And then it just fell into absolute dilapidation. And then more recently, when we were talking about we'll come out and do this walk, I realised that actually someone's got hold of it. He obviously is some kind of train enthusiast, he must be, and he's really done it up. And it's fantastic to see Lowesby Station in some kind of pristine condition again.
And they're workers' cottages.
These are workers' cottages,
yeah, you can tell it's that the architecture's the same the country over. Railway workers' cottages all look the same. So there we go, there's the track bed. Ignore the annoying buzzing sound, that's those electric pylons. I can feel my head aching already. And wow.
There you go.
Look at that.
If you look at pictures of Lowesby Station years after it or the line was taken up, it was just falling apart. But they've turned it into a family home, and they've done up the kind of waiting room area on the other platform. And these stations were open for such a short time, because every time, you know, if you go on the internet and you see steam trains pulling passenger coaches on this line, every single one of those is one of those weekend excursions in the summer, because the passenger trains ended long before that as a service timetable.
Yeah, 52, early doors that.
Yeah, early. Year I was born. That's how early. And so these were, there was one or two workers' trains apparently, whatever that meant, that went into Belgrave Road. But basically, these stations were just left, and to see it restored in the way that it has been, given what it looked like when I was here and when the tracks were down, is magnificent. Good feeling. Good feeling.
That's great, and it's a public footpath, which is fantastic, which just skirts around it. Now, I've said to Dad, I assume that was maybe a weighbridge, perhaps, because I think there would have been sidings coming in here. I mean, they've got a van there.
We've got a truck.
Yeah, and there's the station building. You've got it on the other side. Like I say, it's a private home, so we're not doing loads of filming of it. But that's cool as well. I'm pretty sure that would have been a weighbridge in there, maybe.
And what the owner's
Love
done.
it.
Obviously, we're not going to film it because we can't find him, therefore we can't ask permission. But he's put Great Northern Railway, signs up. So he obviously knows his stuff, and when you see it, it's just a magnificent job that he's done. His family's done, and incredible that I stood here when I was about 13. When the tracks were still been down, and the place was falling apart. Nothing like it did in the end though. Oh dear, it was almost just nothing to it. And to see it restored, fantastic.
There you go, you've even got the sign on the side. Lowesby.
Lowesby.
And there's another little building as well. It was a half decent sized station.
Very substantial station for the location. And
yeah, it's just fields. Lovely though. I'm assuming it must have been goods traffic really then.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And there weren't a terrific amount of that in the last few decades, that's for sure. But if you look at the intermediate stations between Belgrave Road and Melton Mowbray, a lot of the stations were village stations for a start, in the countryside, but a lot of them were nowhere near the village.
No, we're nowhere near anything here apart from those workers' houses.
Yeah, but we went to Ingarsby, and the station was called Ingarsby for Houghton, and Houghton is absolutely nowhere near that station, miles and miles up a very steep hill, and Ingarsby is basically, well, it's the station basically.
Yeah, and a couple of houses, that's literally it. Yeah. Okay, so we've walked round. We're about to come up to another bridge. Hopefully we can get down on the track bed here, that's the plan. Because we're coming up to something called Mayfield Junction, which is where the Great Northern joined up with a joint railway that was a joint railway between the Great Northern and the London and North Western Railway that went off right down to Market Harborough and originally down to Peterborough, although they stopped those services in 1916 when the First World War, and then left up to Melton Mowbray and Nottingham. That's the way we're going. We're gonna go and follow that route there. Now this looks like a serious bridge. I thought this was just like a farm access job, but look how it bends round. Wow, that's a serious bridge. I wasn't expecting that. So that way left to Lowesby station.
That's Lowesby.
Yeah, can't see it now.
This side, the track starts to enter the first junction of a triangle, which that was Market Harbour, that was Melton, Nottingham, and then there was another spur off to Grantham.
Oh, mine the stingers done.
And this is a memory that I have standing on this bridge. So me and my mate, we used to go on our bikes along this line all the time when the tracks were down. And we came one Sunday and we actually came to this bridge first. We headed for this bridge in Mayfield Junction and the viaduct. And we looked over and there was one track, not two. It was a gutting moment when we realised they were going to take the bloody thing up. And eventually they took the other line up as well. But this is a very, very interesting junction, Mayfield Junction. And there's a beautiful viaduct just off it, Twyford Viaduct, although they call it other names as well. Red brick, absolutely magnificent.
So from Mayfield Junction, which you can see there from the air, it's like a perfect triangle, amazing. Unfortunately, it's all private land, and it's got like huge signs basically saying keep off, private land, private embankment and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be doing that. They've put those signs up for a reason. So I'm walking around now to Twyford Viaduct, and it just looks immense. There we go. Oh, walking on. Jeez Louise, that's a lot of stuff in it. Look at that. Oh, amazing. Now, up there is John O'Gaunt Station, or was John O'Gaunt Station. Obviously it's not a station now, it's a private house. But look at that viaduct. Just looks incredible. Mate, it's like a mixture look of red brick and blue brick. It's wonderful. And back in that direction, that's Mayfield Junction. That's where we've just come from. So this is now the Great Northern and the London and North Western Joint Railway now. So we've done the Great Northern from Belworth Road to Mayfield Junction, and at that point it becomes a joint railway. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow this now as much as we can. Obviously there's a lot of onning and offing, which is a bit annoying, but private land is private land. All the way up to Melton Mowbray. What a structure, Dad.
Yeah, you know, imagine you're two young kids on their bikes and you love this railway, and you've come out all the way here, which is quite a long way from Leicester now, and you don't know what you're going to find, and to go over that little hill there and to see that structure.
Yeah, this looks amazing.
It's absolutely amazing.
So we've come round, we've had to follow the road, annoyingly, but here we go, there's a bridge.
There's a bridge.
And John O'Gaunt Rural Industries.
Yeah, this is the site of John O'Gaunt Station. And
nothing there, annoyingly.
Came there on my bike. We stood at this bridge. It was the bridge on this side as well then, and looked down, and you saw the station and the track. And this was a centre for milk. There was always kind of milk wagons, those white milk wagons, in sidings here. I think there was a dairy here actually, and this was John O'Gaunt Station, which is actually the viaduct. You run off the viaducts almost straight to the station, and it was a lovely spot.
Yeah, so they've taken the bridge out this side, haven't they?
The station road, there you go.
Yeah, there's your clue.
So we looked that way, and there was all the station and the platforms and stuff.
It's a private house now.
Let's see what we can find here.
I wonder if it's filled in. Should we take a bet? I reckon it's filled in.
Oh, it's a posh house now.
Everyone's got posh houses around here. Yeah, it's
filled
in. Annoying.
There's the bridge. But you can see where the line picks up.
Yeah, there you go.
With the
track bed again with the trees, yeah.
Tree line, yeah. And the next station on is a place called Great Dalby. That's the station before Melton North.
Okay, so we're walking down now towards Great Dalby Station. Same deal. There we go. Station Road. There's your clue. Same deal as basically the every other village station on this line, in that it's an absolute mile away from the village itself. Now, station buildings are gone, but there is a station master's house there, which we're going to have a look at. But we've spotted this. What is it, Dad?
It's a bridge that is still there.
Normally, you just get stanchions, don't you, Dad?
Yeah,
and I'm normally happy with them.
If you think about it, this was opened in 1882, 1883, and we're now in 2024, and this bridge is still here. And I'm so delighted, because we were chatting, and you know, the amount of work that went into this line, and all the engineering and everything, and it had so little traffic, and it's sad really, but there's again a blue brick bridge.
Yeah.
And whoa!
I'm wondering if we can get on top of that, Dad.
I think it's worth a try, mate. Because the station is just here.
Yeah, I reckon we can.
Let's go and have a look.
So here you go, here's the workers' cottages, and the one beyond that, completely derelict, is the station master's house, but we'll have a look at that in a second. Let's try and get on this bridge. Here we go, Dad. Right, Dad's nearly got his head taken off by a bird of prey then. I'm gutted I wasn't filming. That was mad, wasn't it?
It was a big bird.
It come flying out of the hedges and flew off over there. It was enormous.
Enormous. Big bird in sky. Well, this is the bridge.
Yeah.
After you, Gaz.
Right, the one in shorts. I don't mind going. Oh yeah, that is brutal.
It is brutal. You're going to get stunted. Yeah. So, and on the other side, you've got a field. All the railings are still on it.
Yeah. That's what made me think we could probably get on it pretty easily. And I guess, to be honest, in the winter you probably could, but
yeah.
I'm in shorts and I ain't.
And there's a gate at the end, so.
Yeah, we're not getting very far.
No.
But there you go.
Now.
This was the station site. Workers' cottages, station master's house. The rest of the station's gone.
Yeah, that's Station Farm, they call it at the end. But look at these houses. It's a lovely spot.
One's clinging on for dear life, one's gone, and one is a Scooby-Doo house.
And the station master's house there, detached. Indeed, in need of some attention, would suit DIY enthusiasts.
There we go, yeah.
But what a magnificent spot.
So that was the last station before Melton Mowbray.
Yep.
Now when we get to Melton, or just outside Melton, or Melton North as the station was known, there's loads of track bed there. So at last we get to have a stomp along an old railway line, as opposed to, you know, offing and onning with private land and all that gubbins. So we're in Melton Mowbray now, virtually, and we found some track bed.
On an embankment.
At last, yeah, on a really big embankment, which is great. So what we're going to do, we're going to trek this in as far as we can get into Melton Mowbray. It goes through a cattle market, you were telling me?
Yes, I remember that. Mowbray Market.
So we'll go through there, and then beyond that basically is the site of Melton Mowbray North Station, so we'll see what's there. I've got my eyes peeled for a permanent way hut or something. I'm not sure it's going to happen. How are your legs feeling, Dad?
Yeah, the feeling of beer coming on.
Feeling a beer coming on, me too. Big embankment, wide, double tracks, Dad was saying. I can feel the rain coming down as well, so I'm not gutted to be under tree coverage either.
The line came in to Melton Mowbray on a bit of a turn, all on embankment, and then went across the town, because, you know, it came in to Melton Mowbray quite late. Melton Mowbray being famous for pork pies and stuff, of course, and went across a cattle market into the Melton North Station. So as it came through Melton Mowbray, it was almost entirely on an embankment.
Right, which we're on now, yeah. But it's about to stop, and that rain is getting heavier and all. So there's the embankment, excuse the noise. There's the embankment we've just been walking on. We're about to come off that, so I'm assuming this must have been a half decent bridge. And here we go. It's quite a climb, as you can see. Dad's proper going up the hill. So it would have been a hell of a high embankment, which should be going through what was a cattle market in a minute. Hopefully It hasn't been taken away. Hopefully it's all still there with a bit of luck. Tapers off again, Dad. Another bridge out.
Yeah. But
So
I mean, you know, there's a hell of a stretch of embankment that's now a walkway on the old railway. It's really great.
but we don't get to go across the cattle market then.
Well, we'll go and find the cattle market somewhere else, like where it is.
I was going to say, we'll go to a different town.
Yeah, and then into Melton Mowbray North Station. I don't know where we are now when we come down this way.
It would have been quite a bridge, because it's a really high embankment.
Yeah, it was embankmented bridges all the way across. Now, where are we?
So, I mean, the embankment's gone that side, annoyingly. Okay, so this is the end of the line here then, Dad, in terms of that embankment. It's done, annoyingly.
Yeah, and this is the cattle market, all livestock vehicles, look. And the line then curved, went across the cattle market, basically cut it in half, and then went across another bridge into Melton North Station. And the cattle market, of course, is still here, but we'll get another view of it from the other side.
Okay. Okay, so we're in the cattle market. Line came across here. The clue, as Dad was just saying to me here, is that basically new buildings. So ones that are new are where the line would have been high in the air across the cattle market. So Dad, I've got a brewery behind me and I'm trying not to be distracted by it.
My God, I've got a beer with my name on. But over there where the trees are, that's where we were walking. And the line came through the cattle market.
Yeah.
And over to Melton Mowbray North Station up there. And this is the place, the only time I ever saw a steam train on the Belgrave Road line.
So you did see one then?
I did see one. And what it was we used to come to Melton Mowbray Cattle Market lots of times. Melton on a market day was absolutely rammed. It was unbelievable in numbers. And my father used to come, not for the cattle and stuff, but they sold other things as well, second-hand stuff and whatever. So we used to come. And I was in a car park on this site, and I'm sitting there, and the parents and whatever have gone off. And on the line, as it came through the cattle market, the signal went up, right? So I'm thinking, there's a bloody train coming, and so I sat there. It was ages and ages and ages, but you know, I wasn't going to let anyone leave. That signal was up. I was waiting, so I waited, and the train came eventually, and it was a Stanier Class 4, like a standard Class 4, pulling a guardsman. That was it.
A single guardsman.
It pulled a guardsman. So it was a great anticlimax. And obviously they had scheduled goods services, but there were no goods at that time. This was in the
So they just ran them anyway?
Yeah, the line was really in its last leg then. But that's the only steam train I ever saw, and on the Belgrave Road line, and it came through the cattle market.
Okay, what we'll do then, we'll continue on here, we'll go to the station, and then I'm definitely coming back for a pint. The line went across here, would that be right, Dad?
That's correct. Yeah, there's a very good model railway you can see on the internet of Melton North Station, and there's a very good model railway of actually a Belgrave Road Station in Leicester as well. And there's a bridge went over here, and the station was up there.
It's a QD now, whatever that is. I've never even heard of a QD, but it's a QD. It's a QD. So there we go, Dad, that's the station site then.
Yeah. You wouldn't ever think there was a railway here, would you, now?
You wouldn't.
A bit like Belgrave Road at the other end.
Yeah, exactly.
But the station was here, and it had a very distinctive like glass awnings on the platforms, and had a very distinctive signal box, which was kind of high on on poles, as I recall. So over there, you see where the cars are over there? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's where I was sitting in my father's car looking this way and seeing the guards van come across here.
The disappointing guards van.
The disappointing guards van. I mean, you know, it could at least have been a good strain, couldn't it?
That's it. There we go then. See you later, Pidge.
And if you go beyond here, apparently, you hit the track bed again, and you go all the way up to where the lines, there was a junction, the lines went off. They joined the same line between Nottingham and Grantham, but they went in different directions. Another triangle then. And that's something else we must do at some point. Definitely. When my legs have recovered. So that's us then, Leicester to Melton. I've enjoyed that, Dad. Very, very good. My legs are begging for mercy. Yeah. But it was great. Worth it though. So as Dad said, beyond here, the track bed then goes into a country park, and there's loads of bridges and loads of remains, so there's lots further down the line. So we're going to do that. Well. And tunnel as well. Yeah. So we'll do that. Hopefully it won't be as much of a nightmare as the last tunnel we tried to get into. But yeah, so lots more to do, so we'll definitely be back. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. See ya, bye.